Let's go. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Sensual Synergy. I am your host, Nickesha, and we are here February the 8th, 2014. I cannot believe it's 2014. Like, we had the show last month, but now it's like, wow, it's 2014. You know how, like, in the beginning of the year, you write something, you saying, what year is it? Is it 13? Is it 14? So we are in 2014, and these 2000s are coming rapidly, right? So anyway, what I want to do is again welcome you to Sensual Synergy, and I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank my sponsor, the Women's Earth, and also I want to Women's Earth at 2201 Arbor Street in the historic third ward. And no, I'm not throwing up an Illuminati sign. Okay, yeah, because I no, it's a funny story. Somebody thought that Beyonce was throwing up a Illuminati sign when she threw up third ward. But anyway, I digress. It's not Illuminati. This is representing our hood, and I'm not in the game. Okay. So what we're doing at this time is we are going to delve into the topic of the month, and the topic of the month deals with dating. All right, and let me be clear, we're not talking about dating as it relates, come on in. We're not talking about dating as it relates to, I'm not with anyone. Dating, even if you're in a relationship, this is stuff that you can use, okay? All right, so the topic for today is mastering dating, practical tools to win in the dating game. All right, y'all know me. That title is bullshit. First of all, there's no such thing as a dating game. All right, because if you're playing games, you lost already. Game over. All right, finish him. Okay, there's no such thing as a game. Okay, that title was just it's like a spoof or whatever like that. So because people do call it the dating game, I really wanted to delve in that concept of dating having an underlying tone of it being a game. So first I want to start with a definition. What is a game? All right, let me tell you what a game is. A game is a physical or mental competition conducted according to rules with participation in direct opposition to each other. All right. So essentially, you're trying to fake somebody out, fake you out. All right. I'm gonna put my game face on, put my shades on while I'm playing this game, so y'all don't see my eyes. You know what I'm saying? When I get this good hand and my eyes won't get big, I want you to see it. So essentially, when you put the idea of dating and game, there's essentially this opposition that's going on. So I'm like, are you serious? Because people will say, oh girl, I in this dating game, or in this dating game. So when you're talking about a game, you're talking about opposition, but then dating connotates trying to come together. There's something terribly wrong about this. So first, what I wanted to talk about is again at Sensual Synergy. The center is always us. I'm always trying to focus on us. One thing that I subscribe to, and a lot of things that I deal with here in Sensual Synergy, is the concept that I believe that I create my reality and that I am the center of my universe. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was talking about how my life is like a theater, and I'm directing it, and people are playing certain roles and things of that nature. And I know why. If I'm really a good director, I know why people are playing certain roles. And if they're playing a role and I'm saying, I don't really like the way you did that, then it's up to me to rewrite that. I must rewrite that, okay? So the first question that I came up with is, how have we been playing games with ourselves? How are we playing games with ourselves? How are we in opposition with ourselves? So the first thing that came to mind, quite honestly, remember W.E.B. Du Bois talked about this concept of double consciousness. Is that what it was? But his concept dealt with African Americans and their identity as African Americans, but also their identity as it relates to European culture ideas and things of that nature. So I was like, I can't use that concept. But what I did find was this concept of dual consciousness. So what we find is that we get into relationships and we have this dual consciousness. We have where we're existing, we are playing this game with our representative. This is my representative. But in the background, we really have other ideas and desires that don't line up with who our representative. Like we say it all the time. When you date, girl, you going to date? Yeah, I'm going to date tonight. Who you going to? Girl, you know I got to put makeup. I got to do this. And you going to bring out your representative. You ain't going to bust out and say, oh, Lord, my man, he broke up with me last week. And he took the house and he took the car. No, you're going to act like, hi, I'm Nickesha. I have a bachelor's degree from Texas Southern University, and I've traveled and I've done this, and I have a house and I have a car. You're going to bring your representative, right? You ain't going to tell him, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of fucked up. I really don't trust you. And I really desperately want to be in a relationship, but I'm going to tell you I'm cool if we just get together every so often. So do you understand what I mean by that opposition? We have this dual consciousness, right? Where we are coming in, we are like subconsciously or consciously playing this game when we date. And it's not just when we're out courting, but it's even in our relationships. We go into our relationship with this dual consciousness, right? So how have we been playing the game? I talked about not honoring our desires. We talked about that before. We've talked about speaking your truth. Do we feel comfortable speaking our truth? I know when I was dating, once upon a time, I didn't feel comfortable telling someone that I really wanted a committed long-term relationship because I was afraid I was going to do what? What you think I was afraid I was going to do? I was going to run him away. Oh, he kind of cute. I kind of like him. And he's saying he's just having a good time. So I'm not going to tell him I want a long-term relationship because I want him to run away. And we've heard that, right? All right. So the thing is that feeling comfortable telling our truth. Do you think people are comfortable telling their truth when they first meet someone? She says she is. You feel comfortable telling your truth?
I do.
Hold on. You feel comfortable
telling my truth? Am I telling the truth?
Yes. She's telling the truth. She's vouching.
Yes, she got no time.
Exactly. So some people are very straightforward. They are straightforward. Huh?
It might depend on how bad the truth is.
What is bad though? Like what is bad? Like what is if it's your truth? What's bad about it?
Society tells you what's bad and what's not.
So give me an example of what's bad truth that you just should not tell.
You got 10 kids and 10 baby daddies.
Yeah.
Now she gave an example. You got 10 kids and 11 baby daddies. Again, we on board. We the third show. He's not the father. We're trying to figure this out. But again, going back to what you're saying, like we give an example, we're laughing, but again, even if you decide not to divulge that information, eventually truth will come to light. Eventually truth will come to light. Again, so what I have found is this concept of us not speaking our truth and not being comfortable in being authentic or genuine of who we really are. Because we feel like that we need to bring our representative in order to be accepted. Now, why do you think people feel like that they have to do that in dating? Anybody? Why do you feel like you have to bring a representative?
Fear.
Yes. Fear of rejection.
Yes.
Fear of rejection. Anybody else got anything else? Yes.
I was gonna say, not fear of rejection so much, but like the expectation. Cause it made me laugh because I was thinking about this guy that I met that was not working. But he told me he was in between jobs. Because he told me he was a consultant.
Gotcha.
And he's got a Jag and a motorcycle and a Land Rover and this house, right?
Yeah.
Out in Sugar Land. By over there by the mall.
Oh, go ahead. By the mall.
And he was the one that was volunteering all this information. But later on, what I found out was he was His parents were sending him money from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The house was leased, and he was actually 2 months behind. The car, all the vehicles had been purchased on Craigslist, so he didn't pay full price for them.
Okay.
And they were fixer-uppers, but his thing was, I'm 48, 49 years old. I should be established. So
in
his mind.
Okay.
So he was trying to present a different picture.
Gotcha.
Than what he really was.
Gotcha. Again, because out of fear that someone will not take us for who we are. But again, you ended up finding out what it really was, right?
Asked the question.
You asked the right question, and you got the right answer. What you got over here for us, brother?
Yeah, it's also a vulnerability thing. Because to expose yourself is to leave yourself open.
For
whatever. And then fear can come in there. The rejection is one option. I guess a couple of different things. You can be taken genuinely, you can meet someone genuinely. But there are so many representatives because of that that split personality within all of us. You got the America's ideal, which is supposed to be. You got your community's ideal, which is supposed to be. Your neighborhood's ideal, which is supposed to be. All playing binds control over who you are.
Yes.
And then each individual has that on some level going on. Gotcha. And so to come up and just be straight up honest with somebody can be a daunting task because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know if you're talking to the representative. And which representative it is, depending on which day it is. The representative that the person may have. So that vulnerability is like part of the joy of being serious in a relationship. I think.
But you're saying that the vulnerability should be reserved.
No, I'm saying it should be straight up.
In relating?
It should be straight out there. But that's not the case all the time. Okay. So to be vulnerable and then the next person being.
You said to be vulnerable and what?
One person being straight naked out there.
Okay.
And the other person with their suit of armor on. It's hard to fight somebody with a suit of armor on and you naked. To engage with them. Even just to hug somebody with a suit of armor on and you naked is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. When I was writing up my notes for this show, I never thought about the concept of vulnerability. But what I will say about vulnerability, and you saying that you being naked and another person has a suit of armor on and they're being able to use that against you at a later point in time, it is only based upon the fact that you feel like there's shame or guilt in what you are or who you have been. And so that's based off of, ideas of what's good and what's bad, moralism, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it all goes back to who? You. Because someone can feel comfortable with saying, you know what, I don't have a job right now. I want to date, I don't have a job. Another person feels like they have to come up with this whole elaborate story. Why do we have the same scenario, but one person's willing to say, this is who I am, and another person saying, oh God, no, I can't let them know who I am. It's based off of their perception of what they're presenting to you, based off of guilt and shame, underlying fear. So again, it goes back to self. When we are able to eradicate the concepts of guilt and shame in life, period, and understand that we are here to grow and learn, and that there is no shame or guilt in anything that we have done, then we feel compelled and we feel moved to be more truthful. But it's only because we feel like, oh, according to this, then I should be guilty or I should be shameful of what I have. So no, I don't want to present this because this person can use that against me. Go ahead.
Just like what you were touching on is according to this, and what everybody's been pointing out is like fear and expectations, but nobody's kind of looking at where we get it. Like the question is, where do you get it?
Oh yeah, that was the next one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, roll with it. Roll with me, sister. You got it. Come on.
I probably got a little bit different spin on it because I've talked about this before, but when we grow up in this modern society, everything that we're taught is not taught to be. We're not taught to be together in community. We're taught to be separate.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught to separate. So when you talk about dating, you're like she said, you're playing a game, but you're playing a game with yourself. You're playing a game with your own minds against your own mindset and the concepts that have been programmed in you. For example, when you watch commercials, it's zestfully clean, Dove makes your skin soft, and this makes your waist smaller, and this makes. But why? Why are they telling you all these things? Why are they putting all these things in front of you? It's because they're telling you how to be acceptable and how to separate yourself from the competition, not necessarily how to come together and be authentic. You understand what I'm saying? So when we look at these things, it's not about coming together and me being myself and you being yourself. Like, has anybody seen that movie American Psycho? Have you seen that? Okay, he was just all about the status quo. I need to have this, the finest this. They were comparing business cards because it was all about being the best, the most, and separating from the pack because I want to be chosen for something. So I can't be like everybody else. That's what they sell you. They don't sell us how to come together. They sell us how to compete and how to be separate. So this woman is distinguished from this woman. That man's distinguished from that man. That it's a. I don't want to go too deep into it because it's kind of deep, but it's just a matter of when we say fear, expectation, vulnerability. Where is it coming from? And that's where it's all in our mind, and we play a game with ourselves.
Exactly, it's all in our mind. Again, what she was saying, she was talking about it comes from past experience, and that was actually my second point. What past life experience can create duality between your relationship desires and your expectations. But she went into the concept of individuality and community. Now, of course, we understand in this society, it's basically built on the concept of individuality. And it's really seen in the economic concept of capitalism when you deal with this concept of scarcity. And scarcity being attributed to a value. Okay? So essentially, if you want to be valued, then you need to be zestfully clean and have a Jag and a house by the mall and Sugar Land. Because that puts you that makes you scarce. And so scarcity breeds what? It's value. It breeds competition and it breeds a better value. So again, I'm glad she brought up this idea of individuality versus community. So again, I don't want to be vulnerable because that's going to take down my value. According to what a valuable person is in my mind. Go ahead, brother.
I still have another fear besides of vulnerability and rejection. It's the fear of ridicule. Just a basic fear of ridicule. Which might connect.
I'm sorry, you said ridicule.
Fear of ridicule.
Fear of ridicule.
Yeah, well, to add to the vulnerability and to the rejection.
Yeah, the fear of being ridiculed. Yeah, exactly. And again, that goes back to that value system, as shame or, in order to be a valuable person, then you need to have A, B, C, or D. If not, then you should be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't put yourself out on the market. We do it all the time. One of my teachers, Master Yao Morris, talks about the select and non-select man and woman. And the select and the non-select man and woman is based off of that scarcity model. A select woman is a woman that has a certain physique. She looks a certain way. She has a certain sex appeal. A select man is a man that has a certain physique. He has a certain amount of money. He has a certain amount of wealth, etc., etc. A non-select, quote unquote, is someone who doesn't have a non-select woman that doesn't have a certain physique or a certain look or a certain amount of sex appeal. And the non-select man is a man that doesn't have the wealth and the physique, etc., etc. So again, it's based off of value, and separatism, separating ourselves. So I wanted to go into the concept of what past life experiences have created duality in our relationships based off of our desires and our expectations. So one thing that I thought about is we have these deepest desires for something, or we have expectations based off of our past experiences. So I'll give you an example. Society says for Nickesha Cherise that I should be married, I should have 2.5 kids, I should have a dog and a picket fence. However, Nickesha's reality was raised by a single mother. who experienced difficulty in her relationship, a grandmother who ended up being single, aunts who ended up being single. My friends mostly are ended up single. So again, there's this opposition that's going on. Does anybody want to? Do you understand where I'm coming with this? So you have this idea, you have this like, oh yes, I should be married, but at the same time, I should have this marriage and it should be this way, and we should be together forever, and all flowers and running through the fields. But I have no point of reference for that. I have no point of reference. Can anybody relate to that? And how that can actually permeate how you manifest relationships.
Right. You have it goes into that split personality thing. Again, you have a projection, an image that's projected.
Okay.
From several different levels. You have an internal image of what you want for yourself. You have this high overarching societal image that's portrayed on what's right,
gotcha,
what's good, what should make you feel good, what success is.
Mm-hmm.
And in between what's in your mind and what society says is reality.
I like that.
In there.
I like that.
And all of it, in reality, depending on where you're sitting, your reality can line up with society's overarching view.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it doesn't.
Gotcha.
So there's a tension created that pulls you in all these different directions. All those different layers, that stratification above you. Each layer is different and it's putting you in a different direction. And that can cause that internal split, yes, fracturing, image shattering, and confusion. And once you get that type of confusion, it's hard to figure out which way you're supposed to
go. Gotcha.
In a way, yes. I feel you on that.
Okay.
But what are you saying? It's like we deal with each other based on, it's like we have a checklist and we deal with each other based on what we're lacking versus what we actually have to offer. Mm-hmm. So when you meet somebody, you're not looking at the person based on what they have to offer as an individual. You're checking them off based on how much they're lacking. And if they're not lacking as much, then they're considered. But if they're lacking too much, then that's not a consideration. Mm-hmm. So it totally ends up discounting an individual for who they really are. Again, playing on that game of, where are we getting all that from? Mm-hmm. And so instead of looking at a person for what they can bring, for who they are, we're looking at, are they meeting the criteria?
Mm-hmm. Again, exactly. But I think, and what I want to kind of bring it to is my first point where I talked about what you desire, your truth and authenticity. The reality of it is, like I said, the basis for what I do here is based off the idea that I create my reality. Okay? It's based off the concept that my relationships are here to grow. They're a reflection. When I look in your eyes, you're a reflection. What I see in you is a reflection of what's in me. So I was talking to someone earlier that said they went to a relationship conference, and the whole overarching idea is that if someone does something to you bad, they're abusive, separate yourself. And my question is, how the hell is that working out for you?
Problem suspended.
It's suspended? Thank you. Say it again. Problem suspended, but not solved. Because you're not allowing yourself to continue to relate, to really have those mirrors or those people that you're relating with to be your barometer on where you are in your growth. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So that's how you know whether what you desire, if your desire and your expectation line up. Okay? Because what most people will tell you is that they're bad. It's that opposition thing. It's me against you. I get with you, you do something bad, you're bad. It's not me, it's you. I need to separate myself. Instead of saying, what is he showing me about me? We don't do that. So we don't. No, come on now.
Oh, no.
It don't make good conversation when you're on the phone with your homegirls anyway. Let's be honest. No, girl, he did this. It don't make good conversation. I mean, who gets on the phone with their girlfriend and be like, yes, girl, I I broke up with my boyfriend, and I feel like I broke up with him because he was selfish, and I saw that within me. It's like took the opportunity to take away to evaluate. No, you like, girl, and he don't do nothing, he don't never pay for nothing. And you she like, girl, for real? You need to give us something? That's more fun, it's more exciting, and that's exciting. It's not exciting to say, girl, yes, his reflection shows me that there's something within me that, I see he's selfish, but I know it's within me. And she's like, yes, girl, amen. That's not fun. You don't know that ain't fun. It ain't fun. It's fun when you like, girl, yeah. She like, for real? And they what? Huh? Girl, yes. For real? What you want me? Girl, you want to go slice the tires? What you want to do? You want to break his window? Girl, no, we good. But that's the reality. So, but, we're laughing. But again, the whole idea of this platform is for us to start looking at our patterns and seeing where it is not working, and making those slight changes, because it's already within us, making those slight changes so that we can start to create the reality that we desire, so that our desires start to line up with our expectations. When I was doing research, I was looking up the concept of law of attraction, and two things that came up were desire and expectation. Desire is just the want to have it, and then you expect and know it's going to happen. A lot of us have this desire, but we really don't expect it to happen. You know why? I desire a loving relationship, but all niggas ain't shit. When I get on my phone with my homegirls, y'all can laugh if you want to, but it's the truth, and I always give it. Or I desire a loving female that's there with me, but you can't trust them hoes, because they out to get you. Or, I'm just saying, I'm being realistic. But it is bipolar, but that is what that's how he said somebody's saying bipolar. But that is usually how we are. We want these things, but we are focusing more on what we don't want. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, I was thinking of some no name calling. I was thinking of some people that I know, and you were talking about, past life experiences, and I was thinking about how, folks will they meet you, and they say, I don't want a relationship. I just, we just want to kick it every once in a while.
Gotcha.
But then all the behavior is the relationship
behavior.
And then when you go, hey, this is a relationship, they go, no. And they start to sabotage it. But then when you do your homework and you look at their environment and you realize that all of the relationships that they would look at as a frame of reference are broken. So it's almost like that whole pattern of not wanting or being able to believe, like we were saying, something inside that maybe they have not accepted or realized yet, that they truly believe that they can have a relationship. Gotcha. I mean, they start off articulating it because that's the desire, but there's something deeper because mom and dad ain't together no more.
Exactly.
This brother, he done split up with, and so they got all these, and even their friends,
exactly.
Are broken, or not in successful relationships or single or kicking it or, whatever. That then there's this like, well, who am I to think that I could really have this?
Yeah, because I just have no point of reference. I can't visualize it. I can't bring it into my reality in my mind's eye. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go to a quick break so we can replenish our glasses and just stretch a little bit and have a bathroom break. So we will be back in 5. Thank you.